Okay, well right now I've got 4 minutes left to mix on the dough, and I've already broken up my walnuts. As you can see, they're just in pieces. Now they're not really little itty bitty pieces like you would get from say a chopper or food grinder, which makes it kind of more interesting in the bread. So I'm going to put those in there right now and mix those in. And I will add just a tad of water, again, to make the bowl a little bit sticky so that the dough will pick those up easier. And I've got my cranberries all measured out, and I actually wait until the dough is finished mixing to put my cranberries in. And my personal reason is because the cranberries, being purple, will bleed in the dough and turn it a real dark color, almost darker than a whole wheat bread. And I don't like that. I just like to have the bread looking nice and kind of creamy. So I wait until the end to mix that in, and I don't get that bleeding. And also it keeps the cranberries more whole and doesn't tear them up, because if I put them in there right now, it's definitely going to tear them up, which is normal because they're very soft. So in a few more minutes we'll come back and the dough will be ready to put those in, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, well, as you can hear, or maybe you can't, my beeper timer's going off, so our dough is mixed and it looks good. See how it's all around the dough hook there? That is exactly the way you want it to be. That just simply means that you have developed all the gluten in the dough. And of course, gluten is a property of wheat. And what it does basically is kind of act like glue and helps everything blend together. So we will scrape this off the dough hook and proceed on to the next step, which is to add in the cranberries. And then put this in a bowl over here that I've got all prepared to proof up for the next hour and a half. Now I think I should mention too that from beginning to end, this process is about 4 hours. So when you start this, you want to make sure you got time. Of course, depending on how good you are at budgeting your time, why, you might do this early in the morning or late at night, as I have done on many occasions. And whatever works for you. I've certainly had time to run errands and do a lot of different things in that time. Okay, now I'm going to use a trick here that a lot of people use, bakers. Now, you won't see this on Home Shop or on the Home Food Network or the Food Network, but butter. And butter is to be able to handle this dough, which is sticky, without it sticking to my hands. Doesn't do me any good, doesn't do the dough any good, doesn't do anybody any good if it just sticks to my hands. It gets to be a little bit frustrating. So, if you're wondering how, and see, even so, it still has a tendency to stick to my hands if I didn't put butter on the top of my hands, just on the palms of my hands. So, now what we're going to do is make like a little hole or down the center here in the dough to add in these cranberries. Okay, here we go. Up into the cranberries, into the center of the dough. Got a couple that want to stay in the cup here. And one didn't make it at all. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this over, kind of like you would for a tortilla or something of that nature anyway. Whenever you're putting something in the middle of something else. That makes a lot of sense, right? So now we've got the nuts and the cranberries in this, and it's still got a nice creamy color, the way I like bread. You may like it differently. You know, it's all about experimenting and trying some different things and seeing what works best for you. So now, we're going to put this in my bowl, which I've already greased up, in my case with butter. I put butter in here. You can use oil, you can use lard, whatever. It's, again, a personal preference. I just like to use butter. And punch that down. Now you can see how flat that is. Now let's check the temperature. Remember, I was telling you my formula works to give me 72 to 78 degrees on my dough. So let's see what the old thermometer says here. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of me, it looks like. Ooh, yeah, sure did. Okay. Well, my my dough is about 74 degrees. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to get a heating pad, literally, and put underneath of the bowl here to increase the warmth inside to get it up to 74 degrees. And that's a little trick you can use if you have the same problem, but I was not quite as astute today as I thought I would be. I put too much ice in the water, got it too cold. 50 degrees would have been perfect, but that didn't work. So, my bad. You don't have to do it like me. But now we're going to put this to raise for an hour and 30 minutes. And an hour and 30 minutes, I'll be coming back and we'll be showing you the next step. So, stay tuned.